So, about the transactions that we've done together, I was wondering if you could help me understand a little bit more about how you felt going into the transactions in this type of a market that we're in.
Right. Well, and that's what, it brings up a great point. We listed our house that you initially helped us sell right before the market changed so drastically. And so the change of the market happened while we were actively trying to sell that home. And it was really comforting for us that you kept up on the market changes, and we were kind of trying to stay ahead of the game as much as we could. That was back in 2008. It was an exciting time for us because, we got a new home and we were happy to be selling that home. So it was a good time, I think.
Good. Well, I know that there were a lot of things that we were trying to accomplish during that time, and do you feel that we did accomplish everything we set out to do?
I think so. We wound up selling the initial home. We sold that home for, we didn't have to pay anything into the transaction, which we thought about halfway through it we would have to with the way that the market had changed. So we were able to successfully get a deal. And I think that you helped negotiate that to the end, that we didn't have to pay to get out of the home, which was, the ultimate goal. And when we found our new home, it was great. We were on the emails, so we got emails of the listings that you had us automatically set up on. So we were, I could look at the homes without having to bother you, and that was a great, thing for us, and that's how we fell in love with the home that we ultimately purchased. I saw it come through in the email, and I don't know if you remember, I called you, "This is our home.
Yes,
we have to see it tonight, right now. This is the house we're going to buy." And it wound up being the one.
I do remember, yeah. I guess the best part of the transaction would be described how?
Well, I think the best part of it was just knowing that you were there to help us, because each of the transactions had their own stresses, and especially in this market. Our most recent transaction was the, unfortunate short sale of our home, but you were there throughout the whole process and able to provide the information that we needed in a timely manner and help us understand the process and not get too overwhelmed, because it is an overwhelming thing to go through. So I think, the best part of it is just knowing that you're there to help maneuver us and guide us through a land that we don't know anything about. We don't do real estate, so that's
it's a tough market, and I'm grateful to be able to help you, really. And when you obviously didn't know what to expect at every turn, and but what you did expect of the transaction, did it compare with what actually happened?
I think so. I mean, the ultimate goal was achieved in each of the transactions that we worked together on, and that's why we've gone back to you. The ultimate goal for the first transaction was the sale of the home. That happened successfully. We didn't, have the walk away with the equity that was thought to be or perceived to be in the property when it was listed, but that was the market. It was 2008. That's what happened. And we got our dream home when we purchased through you, and we never would have found that home if it wasn't for you. And then when we had to short sale it, it was something that you just helped us with and helped us understand the process. And ultimately, we, fought tooth and nail and won against the bank, and we wouldn't have done that without you. So the expectation of, the end result was absolutely achieved.
Great. Well, I know there were some frustrating moments that we battled through. It was a 6 or 8 month process, I believe. 8 months.
8 months.
Talking about some of the frustrating sides to the transaction, what can you bring from that?
The most frustrating thing for me was obviously dealing with the bank and the faceless entity on the other end of the phone that kept telling us it wasn't good enough or they needed more. But I think what was most impressive to me about what you offered was when the bank disagreed with the value on the home. We had an offer, a viable purchase contract on the home, and the bank said, "No, we want $30,000 more than that." And they had sent somebody out from North Scottsdale to our home in Ahwatukee. And so the bank had this number in their head that was not realistic of the neighborhood, and you were able to put together the information and provide it to them in a format that they didn't argue with. They ultimately agreed to it, and we never would have been able to do that on our own.
It was a fight that I took on, and I was glad to be able to do it for you. And so after our experience together, do you think you'd feel comfortable introducing me to your friends, family members, coworkers, so that I could offer them the same help?
Well, I think I've proven that
Yes, you
through the
have.
years.
Again,
That,
so in the
you know,
future, from here.
yes, absolutely. I would continue to do that, and that's what I do. And I always preface it with, talk with my friend. She's a great information source, and it's not you're not committing to anything just by talking to her. Especially in this market, a lot of people they don't know what to do. It's confusing. Do you purchase the home if you're in a position to do it? Is now the time to do it? Are you going to lose money? Is it a good financial decision? And I think that everybody in the economy that we're in, it's kind of a stalemate. Everybody's afraid to really make a move. And I always tell people what you can offer them is information, and what they choose to do with it is their choice.
Absolutely.
But make the first step, make an informed consumer decision, and then go from there. So I always, put your name out there and send people to you, and we'll continue to do so.
Thank you very much. I do greatly appreciate it. I think that's it for today, and
Okay.
I really appreciate your time. Thanks.
You're welcome.